Welcome to Change Around Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
I'm Ryan Pills.
I'm Kevin Delp.
And I'm Jonah Do. And today we're doing the best video of the year. It is the guys' top 10 games of 2020.
Thanks for joining us. If you had an opportunity, you may have already seen the gals' top 10 videos. If you haven't seen it, just skip it because the competition is on. Woo-hoo! We are going to have more views on our video, more likes. In fact, we're doing a secret giveaway that we didn't even tell them about.
Sure are.
That's right. They're going to call it for sure. If we get 1,000 thumbs up
2,000. Let's make it 2,000.
What? 2,000. All right, go share it with your friends then. 2,000 thumbs up on this video. Winner, I think 4 winners.
4 winners.
We're going to give away our top games. We're all doing our own top 10s.
Yep.
Top games are going to winners on this video.
Number one game, one to each person.
So 4 winners, 4 games,
Get your
1
thumbs
game
going.
each.
Like it now. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. Before we get started, of course, there are some honorable mentions.
Because no top 10 list is complete unless you make it more than 10.
That's right.
So my honorable mentions are Small World of Warcraft from Days of Wonder. I thought it was a great game. It really should be in my top 10, but I have more than 10, so it's not.
What are you going to do?
And then Planet Unknown from Adam's Apple Games. It's a great game. It would be in my top 10, pretty high up, but it's not actually out yet.
Katie put it in her top 10.
Yeah,
She cheated.
so I'm not. It's just an honorable
Good job,
mention.
Ryan.
I'll be
Good job.
cheating.
Stellar, one of the best 2-player games of 2020. I just had a lot of awesome games. This is a great one from Renegade Games. It's an honorable mention. Could have made it. My City, a legacy tile placement game from KOSMOS. Pretty good. And it's an honorable mention as well. And then I sort of felt like I couldn't add this in my top 10. So Melissa and I designed a game. We published it through Space Cowboys. This is the Halo Project. It is a time story, sort of their next season with the Blue Series. So check out Time Stories, the Halo Project. I don't really want to spoil anything, but you can see it's got some really cool characters and things like that. So it would definitely be in our top 10 as well. And I should say, we will pick a winner from someone who comments in our video because
Clarify.
So if we hit 2,000 thumbs up, we will pick 4 winners from people who comment on this video. That's we have to find the winner somehow.
Right. Start commenting. I think we're ready to go. Number 10.
All right, everybody, this is my number 10 game, Inner Compass from AEG. So here's the thing. I understand that theme means a lot to a lot of people, and this theme absolutely does not match the game. Gotta be honest. But I like the gameplay. I like the components, and it was fun. So I'm giving it my number 10 spot.
My number 10 goes to another AEG game. What happened? Santa Monica came out this year. I'm going to have to admit that a lot of the games on my list this year, because I played so many at home with Sarah, were influenced by her. She thoroughly enjoyed this game. It's a fun tableau
Which made
builder.
you like it as well.
That's right, exactly. It upped my level of enjoyment because of her level of excitement about it. Really great aesthetics, just a really nice feel, perfect. Like they captured that beach atmosphere. Fun game, has you building out your town. Lots of cool stuff. Santa Monica.
All right, my number 10 is Project Elite from Simon and Artipia Games. I really like tactical miniatures, and I love what they did here with adding that timed element to make it just really frantic. I also hate that, so that's why it's number 10 and not higher. But I think it was really cool, and sometimes I just love it to no end, and sometimes I can't wait for it to be over. So, Project Elite.
My number 10 is Gates of Mara from WizKids. This is a worker placement plus some area control going on. The theme's cool, the artwork's cool. The awesome thing about this game specifically is that it sort of has upgradable workers, so your workers are getting stronger and more powerful and got cool benefits as they go throughout the game. It's got some area control, which I appreciate as well. So WizKids, Gates of Mara, number 10. Number 9! My number 9 is One Small Step from Academy Games. Academy Games is known for their historical games, and this one, of course, has the space theme as the USSR is battling against the USA to get to the moon first. This is actually a worker placement game where you have two teams. One plays as the USSR, the other team plays as USA, and it can be 2v2. You can play 1v1, 1v2, but basically one side is the USA, the other side is USSR, and you're trying to put satellites into orbit. You're trying to do manned missions, and whoever can get to the moon first sort of triggers the end of the game. It is based on victory points, but getting to the moon first is definitely a good accomplishment. One small step, Academy Games.
My number 9 is Apollo by Buffalo Games and Puzzles. This was just a really fun experience for me. I enjoyed...
Space themed?
Yeah, you know it. I really enjoyed, like, one person's Houston and the other people are the astronauts, and they're trying to accomplish different experiments while also dealing with the things that Houston's telling them to do. And then sometimes you just lose communication. There's only so many things that Houston can tell them. I thought it was a really cool cooperative game. Apollo.
I'm looking at Oceans from North Star Games as my number 9 on the list. This game, the very first time I played it, it has some kind of weird things going on where you've got this pool that you're putting these little cardboard Finding Nemos into, pulling out of. It's an interesting mechanic as you pull them out of one and they get slotted into another. When they all run out, that's the in-game trigger. When you replay the game though, man, the cards in this game work in really incredible ways together. So you might be playing a strategy where you're super mean to the people on the left and right of you. Or you might be playing a cooperative one where you're actually like scoring points based on how they played their cards. There's a huge deck of cards, tons of original artwork in it, really interesting replayability in Oceans.
My number 9 game is going to be Ganesha by Crow Games. So here's the thing. I like games that have in-game bonuses. I like games where you can mess with the other players and it's like first person to get your machine or engine working and get there first and get the bonus, and so Ganesha fits that category. It also looks kind of cool and I love the art. So number 9.
Number 8! Alright, so the number 8 slot on my list goes to Calico, and as I said earlier with Santa Monica, a lot of the games I played this year with Sarah, like we played them over and over and over, and I really became more enamored with them, especially this one. This guy is a serious brain burner. Don't let Beth Sobel's subtle artworks trick you into thinking that this is not an intense game. You have got to score multiples with every tile you lay if you want to beat Sarah at this game, and it's a pretty intense one. Now I have to admit, honestly, the cat theme kind of threw me off. One of the games that probably would have been on my honorable mention list is Isle of Cats. Really solid mechanics in that game. I felt like, I don't know what happened with the theme, like I want to see the pitch meeting on that one because what is going on? So, you have a game for me today? Yes, I do. It's called I Love Cats. You love cats? Isle, like island. It's a tile-based game. Oh, so it's like Tetris on an island. I see what you're saying. No, there's no actual island anywhere in the game. Well, okay then. Tell me more about these adorable little kitties. Actually, they're super terrifying. It's more like aliens than it is cats. Wow, 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 wow. To win the game, you just have to keep all of the cat families separated on the boat. That sounds impossible. How could we ever even achieve that? Afterwards, can we at least make the game box into a cat house? Sure, barely an inconvenience. Cats are tight. What kind of awards do you think we'll win with this game? I mean, at least an honorable mention. Alright, so number 8, Calico.
You're just a softie.
Apparently.
My number 8 is Splendor Marvel, and I really like what they did with the original Splendor, adding the Marvel theme and the slight tweaks. I think this game plays a lot better than the original Splendor, though it isn't that different. That's why it's so low on my list. Splendor Marvel.
Mariposas from AEG. I was definitely interested in this game as soon as I heard about it. It's got the designer from Wingspan, Elizabeth Hargrave. She did an amazing job with this game, with the gameplay, the migration of butterflies, and I love it when gameplay fits the theme, which you don't see in a lot of games. Mariposas does that, so if you're interested in that at all, check out Mariposas from AEG.
Even if you're not, like I didn't know I was interested in butterflies until I played that game. That teaches you a lot of cool stuff.
That's right.
Number 8 on my list is going to be Fort from Leader Games. So I like deck builders. I like deck builders a lot, and what makes this game unique is that you don't get to keep all your cards that you've worked so hard to build your deck with. They can get stolen. And so that for me, it gave it a very interesting mechanic to the game. It made it so enjoyable. I've gotten this to the table a few times, and so it's going to take my number 8 spot.
Number 7. My number 7 was somebody else's mistake, Calico.
Yeah, even better than
I think
thought.
Calico
Even
is a
better.
much better game than a number 8 spot. I really like just the massive combination of things that you need to try to be working on. It's a puzzle, and I like the combination of stuff. I think I said that already. It's really cool.
Agreed.
Mandu Games put out one of my favorite games this year. This is called Merchants of Dunhuang in the number 7 spot for me. This is a rondel type game where you're doing some set collection and you're moving this camel around the rondel, taking different powers and things like that. Lots of variability, replayability to the game because these tiles have different sides to them, so the gameplay is changed up a lot. And I really like what's going on in this game. I like rondel type games. So Merchants of Dunhuang from Mandu Games. Not sure if it's available yet in the US. They were talking about distributing it soon, but you should be able to get it online if you really want to.
Number 7 for me is going to be Chrono Corsairs. So I like this game because it's kind of mean. And that's just my style of game. So in this game, right? So don't play with me because I'm gonna win. Anyway, in this game, it's all about getting the most time gems to win, actually. And so you're maneuvering through these different times of the day, sunset and sunrise and evening and things like that, trying to collect these time gems. But almost every card, almost every spot that you go on the board, it's all about area control, and you can like kick people out so easily with your cards and different actions. And so TMG has put out Chrono Corsairs, and it's going to make the number 7 spot.
Number 7 for me is Project L from Boardcubators. I'm kind of a sucker for games that have unique and interesting components. This game has some of the coolest pieces I've seen in it. You've got double layered cards for each board that you're playing in the game. You've got these really cool chiclety-like quality Tetris pieces that you're building into the cards. It's an engine building game, so you're really trying to be strategic about which ones you select at what time and how you lay them all onto the board. It's a quick game too, so the replayability on it can be fast and high because you can just churn through it as you try to perfect your technique for which ones you're going to take and how you play it. Just thought it had some really cool stuff going on. Project L, definitely check this one out.
Number 6. So my number 6 is going to be Tammany Hall from Pandasaurus Games. Again, it's making my list because it's just mean, and I like it. In this game, you're trying to control different boroughs or suburbs of New York, and it's all about area control and having more mob bosses in that area, that suburb, than the other players. You can outbid them, you can kick them out, you can use extra actions to kick them out of the game. I love it. And so Tammany Hall, number 6.
It's me, but it's good. I'm looking at Ohanami from Pandasaurus Games. This game reminds me a little bit of The Game, where you are trying to lay your cards in ascending and descending stacks and trying to get as many cards out as you can onto the table, except that in this case you're drafting and you're also playing your own game. So there's a little bit of a solitaire feel to it, but as you play through the game, there's a lot of really nice pressure in, man, do I save this card to score big points at the end, or it's gonna mess up my numbers, what do I do? Really, really beautiful artwork. Played it a ton of times. Really fun to teach to other players, and it's a quick one that you can just pull out and play real easily. Ohanami.
And last but not least, for number 6 is Super Fantasy Brawl, upside down, from Mythic Games. I think this is an awesome game. It is a huge box, but really the game itself isn't that big. It's just lots of really large miniatures, which are a lot of fun to play with. And the gameplay itself is simple, but there's twists to it, so there is some strategy involved. There's both a 2 or 4 player variant, and they play very differently. So it's pretty cool. I like both ways to play. I think everybody should check it out. Super Fantasy Brawl, number 6.
Games that catch my attention are ones that have beautiful artwork, unique themes, table presence. Holy Festival of Colors meets a lot of those.
It's all going on.
Where he's got all that going on. The table presence is cool with the different tiers. One of my favorite artists, Vincent Dutray. The Festival of Colors, the theme comes through in the gameplay as you're throwing these powder tokens at other players on the board, and you're moving up the different layers and things like that. So, Holy from Floodgate Games, really, really cool. Number 6.
Number 5. My number 5. Again, I'm stealing.
What? No!
I think Holy is a wholly much better game than number 6 spot, so I'm moving it to my number 5.
Are you gonna say anything about it? You just gonna say this.
It's just a great game. I love the interplay.
Kevin said, and better.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's so many ways to get points. It's a lot of fun. You should check it out.
My number 5 is Beyond the Sun from Rio Grande Games. This is a worker placement game with some tech tree going on. This was in Melissa's list. I remember her talking about it as you are moving worker placements up the different tech trees and trying to go to different levels. And there's also this area control thing going on as you're moving dice that are ships on the planet board and moving them around the planets. And the cool thing is the dice aren't rolled, although I will be specific in that there is a card that lets you roll the dice, so I want to be as specific as possible. Most of the time you don't roll your dice, it's just upgrading your ships and things like that. But Beyond the Sun from Rio Grande.
All right, my number 5 is Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. So here's the thing about Gloomhaven. I don't actually like the game, but this game was so easy for me to get into and understand, and I'm a big sucker for flip books as the game board as opposed to having to set up all the pieces. And again, it was just really simple for me to understand. They've kind of got practice missions as you go through it, so by the time you're like finished with mission 5 or 6, you know how to work the game and can do like the other 20, and for that reason, it's gonna make my number 5 spot.
Coming in with my number 5 is Dwellings of Eldervale. Now this game potentially could have been higher on my list if I had more opportunities to play it. It's just a big one and it's hard to get to the table. The game features some super cool minis, a lot of different things going on the board. There's worker placement, there's just card, there's so many things to get your hands around. It also just has really excellent artwork even inside the box. I have a feeling this is probably going to end up on some other people's lists as well, so I'll save some of the cream to talk about for them, but definitely check out Dwellings of Eldervale.
Number 4. All right, guys, so my number 4 is gonna be The Crew from KOSMOS Games. Now this game got a lot of love and a lot of publicity this year, and realistically, I thought it was gonna be a tad higher on my list, but I don't know, I thought some other games were better. This is a cooperative trick-taking game. I really did enjoy it. It's got a bunch of missions that you play cooperatively and you kind of work through them. It really is fun to get to the table, and I'm gonna put it at my number 4 spots.
Coming in at number 4 for me is the game Cubitos. Now, some people in this room might shudder at the fact that this is probably not actually available until next year, but if I wait until next year, I'll forget how amazing it was, because this game is truly a pretty fantastic game. From AEG, I'm gonna say it's the best race game that I've ever played. It features some of the same, right?
Those are fighting words.
Boom. It features some of those same replayability types of things that we've seen in the game Tiny Towns, where cards are different every time you play them, which really gives you a different variety of options to play in the game. It's simultaneous, everybody's doing their actions at the same time, and it's high speed. There's still a lot of chance, choices, even though there is a lot of chance. So you're rolling dice, but it's a push your luck type of thing, and you can definitely strategically build your deck, your pool of dice as you're playing the game. Features some fun artwork. It's bright, fast. I was surprised at how easy it was for me to teach to non-gamers, because there's a lot going on, but the concept is simple enough that people were able to pick it up very easily, and I have replayed this a ton of times. Definitely a lot of fun.
Better than Camel Up?
Ooh.
I had to throw, I know what those race games are. It's close.
Yeah, it's close. I think this has it by just a little bit.
This has it?
This has it.
Oh man.
You have to try it out.
My number 4 is Fallout, the board game. I think it's a lot of fun. Everybody has their own level of the Fallout shelter that they're trying to build on. You're trying to collect resources and also deliver happiness to the citizens. And with your resources, you're trying to build out rooms in your level that other people will then use and give you resources whenever they use it for resources. So you're trying to get this engine going where you just don't have to worry about certain things.
It's not immediately apparent what experiment is being run in Fallout Shelter the board game. There is evidence that it's just a control group like the vaults in the mobile game, but I think it's actually an experiment to see how many monsters can live inside your vault and still have an overseer elected. But that's just a board game theory.
So I highly recommend it, Fallout, the board game.
Mine is The Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is from CGE. I love it when publishers bring together two different mechanics that I love. This is worker placement plus deck building, and they married those two perfectly in this game. You have so many different tracks that you can go up. The point salad, as you can choose how you want to get your points. Do I really want to focus on the deck building? Do I want to do more of the worker placement? Do I want to do sort of happy? Do I want to go up some of the other tracks to get points? I've tried it many different ways. I have been successful many different ways, so I appreciate that there's not just one way of winning this game. So Lost Ruins of Arnak from CGE, very awesome.
Number 3. The number 3 on my list goes to Merchant's Cove from Final Frontier Games. Now, I'll admit, unlike Kevin and Melissa, who actually designed their game, I may enjoy this a little bit because I designed all the instruction manuals in it. If you had trouble learning the game, it's my fault. You may have also had trouble learning the game because in this game, everyone is a totally different player playing a totally different game. It's pretty slick. I think there's like maybe 8 different characters in the game, and you're fulfilling orders for merchants who are coming into the cove, but each of you is doing it differently. So one of you might be a time traveler trying to collect artifacts in time. One of you might be brewing potions with marbles, kind of like Potion Explosion. It's basically like 8 mini games in one huge game that you all play together at the same time, and you can master each one of them in totally different ways. Really interesting stuff going on in Merchant's Cove.
And he's cheating a little bit.
Cheating because it may not be available in stores, but it's so close.
Twice. Whoa!
All right, everybody, my number 3 game I've actually got to steal. So here I go.
Taking it.
Whoa.
We'll put it in the number 4 spot, but I've got to put it in the number 3 spot for me. This game is good. I like it. Okay, so here's the thing. I told you earlier with Fort that I just like deck builders, and this dice builder kind of hits all the right notes. So one of the things that I love most about it is that it plays quickly. I've even played a few times with brand new players, and we still got the game done in 30, 45 minutes, and I really like that about this game. So I'm moving it. Cubitos from AG, number 3.
I give you permission. It's a good one.
All right, you think I'm gonna steal a game? Do you think I'm gonna steal a game? I am not stealing a game. We actually don't have the game with us. We played Whistle Mountain. I think a lot of us really enjoyed that. This game from Bezier, Whistle Mountain, is a worker placement game. Cool because you are putting your dirigibles that have different sizes around the board to take actions, collect resources, and you're placing tiles on the board. I like this game specifically because there's some tension going on in the game as this water level is rising, and you really have to watch out that your workers don't drown. So definitely a really cool game from Bezier Games, Whistle Mountain. Throw it up.
This is a little mean. I don't know. Did Jonah get a chance to play this one? It might have made Jonah's list.
He said there was tension.
Yes. I think you'd like
Stealing
this.
other
I
people's
like it.
faces.
Yeah, you can totally mess with people.
All right.
All right, my number 3 is Stygian Society from Ape. I think it's really cool because you're like RPG classes. You have different abilities that activate with these little cubes, but in order to activate them, you have to have them fall down through this tower, and you don't know what's going to come out of the tower every round. So you put them in, they may not come out that round, they may come out later. I think that is a really neat idea. So Stygian Society, number 3.
Number 2! My number 2 is Takenu, Obelisk of the Sun from Board and Dice. I love dice worker placement games. This is close to that. This is a dice drafting game where you are taking dice from different areas on the board. They have different colors. There's this obelisk that's changing where the sun is, so there's light side and dark side, and where you're taking them really matters from the different sides. Like I said, the different colors matter because you could take the die for the resource color, or you could take it for the action, and you have different spots on the board that you are taking these actions to build up the temple or to get these cool cards, and really awesome. My number 2, Takenu, Obelisk of the Sun from Board and Dice.
My number 2, I had to steal. So I'm taking it from Kevin's number 7 spot,
It's
I
that
believe.
good.
But Merchants of Dunhuang is gonna make my number 2 spot. Here's the thing, it's fun, it's fast, it's got a little bit of strategy, but the reason it's gonna be my number 2 spot is because the first time I played it, it was one of those when we finished and it was like, I could play that for a while. I could play 2, 3, 4 more rounds of that without even blinking. And because of that, it's gonna make my number 2 spot.
My number 2 spot is going to the Scooby-Doo Escape from the Haunted Mansion game. Man, I really struggled with where to put this on the list because this game is super fun. The theme for it is incredibly immersive. It's the perfect theme for an escape room. You play all the characters in the game. It's really easy to walk through. It's family weight, although the puzzles in it are still challenging. Even though I was doing the puzzles with my kids, it still took me a good 2 hours to get through it. It's a beautiful game where it's set up in the middle for a little break, so if you want to cut it in half and play it in 2 sessions, you can. It also repacks perfectly in the box. It even tells you, like, hey, this would be a good time to stuff all that stuff back in envelope 2 before you move on and lose all the pieces. I've been able to share this with a bunch of other people. They've all enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, the op really did a good job.
This is a really, really, really excellent game. I don't know that it would have made number 1 if it was replayable. It would be even higher. Really excellent, really great stuff in Scooby-Doo's Haunted Mansion.
All right, my number 2 is Etten from WizKids. This game was so fun. It was really cool. There are 8 different factions, and you can play up to 8 players. It plays very fast because everybody's doing things semi-simultaneously. You are allied with the person on one side and enemies with the person on the other, so you alternate back and forth drafting cards with your ally between the cards you have in your hand, and then the cards that are out drafting with your enemy. So you are like, okay, I'm gonna let him have that because I'm gonna counter it with this thing, you know, that sort of strategy. It is a lot of fun. The only reason it's not in my number 1 is because I have played it with an odd number of players where I was also trying to teach 7 people. That is a nightmare. So if everybody knows what they're doing, it is amazing. If everybody doesn't know what they're doing and your attention is diverted so that you have to like focus on each person's turn and it's not simultaneous, I don't recommend it.
7 would be tough. 7 would be tough.
Yeah, so definitely check it out though. It was worth my time. I think it's worth yours. Number 2, Ed.
It's good, it's good.
Number 1! My number 1 is The Court of Miracles from Lucky Duck Games. I just fell in love with this game even before I opened the box, and it doesn't lie to you. It is just a great time. I love the different ways that you can win. There are definitely several different strategies, and you don't know what strategy you're going to have because some of your forces are completely random, and you don't know what everybody else is doing and what their strategies are, so you have to just play the field. It is pretty cool. It's not that long, and there can be some really deep strategy. I think everybody should try it out. The Court of Miracles, my number 1.
All right, my number 1 is lower on someone else's list. It's
Bobby.
The Crew! Quest for Planet 9, co-op trick-taking game. You know, when I first heard about this, I thought, oh, I love trick-taking games. I'm like, I would probably enjoy another trick-taking game. I love, that's why it's in my number 1 spot, The Crew Quest for Planet 9, not just because it has 50 missions plus more downloadable content. I've played this probably over 100 times with so many different people. I have enjoyed playing this game with the co-op trick-taking game as you are trying to work together to complete those missions. I love that the missions are so different from each other, whether you're trying to collect different cards or you're trying to win a trick with a number 1, or as we tried tonight, 2 number 1s, which I think took us about 5 tries, Ryan?
Yeah, about 4 or 5.
4 or 5 times we're like, we're gonna play it one more time, and we're gonna win it this time. So I love that you can try again, and try to complete those missions. Some of them are really difficult, but I love trying to accomplish them. It has a great sense of satisfaction as you are able to complete them. So The Crew from KOSMOS, The Quest for Planet 9, my number 1.
My number 1 for the year is Viscounts of the West Kingdom from Renegade Game Studios. This game impressed me, as has every other one of Shem Felix' games. I don't know how he does it, where he can use the same art, the same components, the same icons, build an entirely different experience every single time. This game features a very cool rondel type board where you're doing worker placement, but you have to do it as you travel around the board. So you've got to be strategic about what places you're going to take, and you have to pre-think of that, like 5, revolutions in advance if you want to do really well in the game. There's lots of ways to score points in the game. You can be moving up the tower, you can be building your collection of the little banners and things. There's just a ton of different approaches to victory in the game, which I always enjoy. I like when I can play the same game and I can try to perfect my strategy as I play it each time, whether I'm perfecting the same one or whether I'm experimenting with different ones. I think Shem has done a really fantastic job with the entire series, and I'm impressed that he was able to yet again put out another fantastic title that matches everything else but gives you an incredibly different game. Check out Viscounts if you haven't already.
Number 1. Wingspan. Oceania expansion. So here's the thing, I love Wingspan, you love Wingspan, I know you do.
We all love Wingspan!
And this expansion made it better, right? It made it better. So here's the thing, I really think that if you play this expansion, you're not going to go back to the original base version of the game. And I know some of you have some thoughts that I put an expansion as number 1. I don't care, because it's good. So it's in the number 1 spot. I really think the Nectar, the Wild, just made it so much easier to put birds down, which allowed you to focus on some of the other end of round goals and personal bonus goals. And so for that reason, it's going to be in my number 1 spot.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, man, what a fantastic lineup of games. Thank you guys for watching through it all. We'd really genuinely be curious to know whose opinions did you line up more with personally, because everybody has a different feel. Put your comments in there. As we mentioned at the beginning, we do want to do
take a step
a
back
giveaway.
See.
Look at it.
Yeah, you have to comment to get the giveaway. And give us likes.
We need the likes. We need 2,000 likes. 2,000 thumbs up, and then we're picking a winner from the comments. 4 winners from the comments.
Yeah, so
and we're giving away.
We're gonna give away those.
The
4
number
games.
number one to each winner.
Yep.
It's gonna be awesome. You really should play Wingspan if you haven't played it. I'm happy to give it to you. You just gotta comment.
That's right.
And
share it.
We should say, go check out the girls' video.
We absolutely should.
Watch it, and then come back and watch ours again, just to see how awesome it is, and like it, and share it with your friends who can also like it.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow along, and share all the cool stuff we've got going on at Tantrum House. We appreciate you guys a bunch, and we'll see you in the next one.
Check out my top 10 if you haven't already.
Awesome. Was he waiting the whole time for that?
This is like Jonah.
I was gonna come up. I was gonna be like, "You're a softie."
You should have. Things unsaid, but dwellings of elder. Oh gosh.
Top 10 games of 2020.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Is it recording? Is everything recording?